So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of covering one specific topic, I'm actually going to be covering just a assortment of questions and actually going over the questions that are on the first page of the calculator test. So what I'm going to be doing is just going through probably about 3 or 4 different page ones of past tests. Hopefully this will be a little bit more concise and I'll be able to get through a bunch more questions than I usually am. So let's just get right into it. Alright, so for number 6, we're looking for the positive square root of 5.96. So we're just looking for the square root of 5.96. And we just have to hit our calculator and go to 5 square root of 5.96. And our answer would be 2.44, rounding to the third. So our answer would be 2.44. For 7, what is W if 2530 plus W equals 9240? Now there's a couple ways to do this. The first way would be to throw it into the solver and do something like 2530 plus W equals 9240. And solving for W, giving a guess of 5 in the solver, your answer would be 6,710. However, you could also see that this is a pretty simple algebra question, and you could just do 9240 minus 2530. So 9240 minus 2530, and that would also be 6710. So in both cases, our answer is 6,710. For number 8, solve for t if t cubed divided by 5.04 equals negative 0.0823. This one's a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to jump to the solver and go t cubed or w cubed, it doesn't really matter, divided by 5.04 equals negative 0.0823. And there's our equation, so hit enter, give a guess of 5, and solve. And our answer would be negative 0.746. So we just do negative 0.746. Then moving on to number 9, we have a simple square. The area is 47.2, and we're looking for the side. So I think by the level of high school, it should be kind of known that the area of a square is equivalent to side squared. So all we would have to do to undo this area equals side squared is all we would have to do is just square root the 47.2, and our answer would be 6.87. So that'll be our final answer for the side, 6.87. And finally, for this one on 10, we have a semicircle with a diameter of 20.4, and it's asking us the area. So semicircle is basically half of a circle, right? So we're going to do 20.4 divided by 2, and that's going to be our radius, right? So we need to do pi r squared to find the area of a circle. So we're going to square that and do times pi. And then we're going to divide all of this by 2 because we only have a semicircle. We have half of a circle. So really, all we have to do is do pi r squared and then divide by 2. So our answer should be 163. And that will be our answer. All right, so diving into this set of questions, first thing we have is what is the product of 2.53 and 0.313? All we got to do is just 2.53 times 0.313. And our resultant answer would be 0.792, rounding up. So 0.792 is the answer to 6. Calculate the product of 605 and 8.22 divided by 0.686. So again, just jump to the calculator and do 605 times, and open up a parentheses, 8.22 divided by 0.686. And that looks exactly like what they're talking about up here. So just hit enter. So your answer should be 7,250. So your answer is 7,250. Then for 8, we have to solve for positive z if 0.343 times z equals 0.137 divided by z. So all we got to do, jump to our apps, go to solver, and solve for this. So 0.343 times z is equal to 0.137 divided by z. and that checks out. So we go to number, give a guess 5, and solve. And our resultant answer is positive z. So positive z is 0.632. Of course, if they asked for negative z, we would just have to throw in a negative guess. Usually like -5 or something will work just fine. All right, so for number 9, we would be doing the area of a trapezoid. And if you don't know the formula for area of a trapezoid, it goes a little bit something like this. So area is equal to height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. So base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. That's how I usually remember it. So let's just type all this into our calculator and solve. So 0.051 plus 0.111, and now we're going to do that times 0.055, and then we're going to divide that by 2. So in the end, our answer should look like 0.00446. So down here, I'm going to do 0.00446, and that should be my answer. Then finally, on number 10, all we have to do is the perimeter is 23.8, right? So this plus this plus this plus this should be all 23.8, right? And we need the length of one of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to think about it and say, okay, if the whole thing is 23.8, then I'm going to want to take out these two short sides, right? I'm going to want to take out these 4.26s. So I'm going to do 23.8 minus 4.26. And then since I have two 4.26s, I'm actually going to do that times 2, just to get them both out of the way. So left over, I have 15.28, right? And this 15.28 encompasses this right here, and it encompasses this right here. So what I need to do is I actually need to divide this by 2 in order to just get one of these lengths, right? So that's all we're going to do. We're going to go back to our calculator and divide 15.28 divided by 2. So our answer should be 7.64. And 7.64 is our answer. All right, so for this set of questions, starting with number 6, what is 8690 divided by 0.418? All we really have to do is just do that. 8690 divided by 0.418. All right, so our answer would be 20,789, or rounded, it would be 20,800. So 20,800. And now we move on to number 7. And number 7 says, what number, when subtracted from 8,765, yields 5,678? Both of these are in order, 8765 and 5678. That's cool. Anyway, so we'll go to our solver and work out this little solver equation. So 8765 minus x, or z, or any kind of variable. 8765 minus z is equal to 5678. So what we're going to do is just go to number, give a guess of 5, and solve. So our z would be 3087. So our z value is 3087. And it says integer here, so we know our answer can't have any kind of decimal or anything. So we do 3087. Also, fun fact, on these integer questions, you don't have to round these. So all you have to do is just 3087, not 3090. So, fun fact. On number 8, what is the remainder of 584 divided by 4.99? So this one's a pretty interesting question. It's got a nice little trick. So we're going to do 584 divided by 4.99, and we want the remainder, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do 584 divided by 4.99. And as you can see, we get kind of like a mixed number thing here going. We've got a whole number in 117, but then we've also got a decimal number with this 0.34068, all that stuff. Now, we don't really care about the 117. That's the whole number. We want this remainder portion right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 117. Whatever that big number is in front, we don't really care about it. So now we have this right here, and this is the real kicker. This is our remainder part, okay? We're going to take this remainder part, and we're going to multiply it times 4.99. So that way we get our end remainder portion, and just take that end and multiply it by 4.99. And we get 0.170 rounding up. So that should be our answer, 0.170. On number 5, we are given a circumference and we're asked to find the radius. A pretty easy formula that you guys should probably have memorized is the circumference of a circle, which is c equals 2 pi r, or c equals pi d. Those are both really the same thing. And in this case, we're going to have to use this top one because we're talking about radius. So we jump to our solver and just begin to solve this. So 9.26 equals 2 times pi times r. Oh, I accidentally messed up a little bit. Forgot to put my equal sign. So there, 9.26 equals 2 times pi times r. That's why it's always important to check and make sure that your equations are correct. And then we go to number, give a guess of 5, and hit solve. So our radius should be 1.47. So that will be our answer, 1.47. Then for 10, it's a rhombus, and they give us an area of 0.177 and a height of 0.402. Now the area of a rhombus is very similar to the area of a rectangle, the area of a parallelogram. It's actually all the same equation. It's area equals length times height. And now, so length times height. We have the height, right? We have this 0.402 value, but we don't have this length here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this into solver. So 0.177 is our area. So 0.177 equals length, we don't know, times height, which is 0.402. So area equals length times height. Yeah, that checks out. So we're going to go to number, give a guess of 5, and hit solve. So height is 0.440, and 0.440 would be our final answer on number 10. All right, so for this set, we just dive into number 6, and it says 6 times the square root of 5,697. So really all we're doing is 6 times the square root of 5,697. So really, all we have to do is just type that into our calculator, and there we go. So 6 times the square root of 5,697, and our answer should be roughly 453. So that'll be our answer, 453. Number 7, what is 10 raised to the power of 1.69? Again, super simple. All we have to do is 10 to the power of 1.69, and then boom, our answer is roughly 49.0, rounding to the nearest tenth, 49.0. And for 8, what is positive x if 54 times x is equivalent to 12 divided by x? Again, just jump to your calculator, go to your solver, and do 54 times x. Actually I'll do x this time. I like x. 54 times x is equivalent to 12 divided by x. That all checks out. Yep, makes sense. Now I go to number. It says positive x, so I have to make sure to give a positive guess, and I'll give my normal guess of 5, and hit solve. So in this case, x would be 0.471. So we'll do 0.471, and that'll be our answer. On number 8, we would actually have to make sure to give a positive guess, because if we give like a negative guess, I give a guess of -5 here, it'll give us a negative solution, which also happens to be 0.471. So interestingly enough, there's actually 2 solutions, and we have to give the positive solution. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, jumping to number 9, we will be doing a perimeter of a rectangle, which is really simple. Sometimes you write up an equation for this, but I can kind of visualize it pretty well. So we've got this long side, which is 4.49, and then we've got this short side right here, and we have to find this short side given the perimeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the 4.49s on both sides, and I'm going to divide it by 2, right? Because once we get rid of the 4.49s, we have this and we have this, but we have to cut that in half because we only want one of them. So let's go to our calculator and do that. So our perimeter in total is 12.6, and then we're going to subtract 4.49, and we actually have 4.49s, so I'm going to do 4.49 times 2, and that will give us 3.62, and 3.62 will be this plus this, but we only want one of them, so like I said, we're just going to divide that by 2, and then our answer should be 1.81. So number 9 is 1.81. All right, then finally on number 10, we have a parallelogram, and the area is what they're asking for, and they give us the, what is that, the length? Yeah, they give us the length, and then they give us the height, and all we have to do is just know the formula for area of a parallelogram, which is the same thing as area of a rhombus, area of a kite, area of a rectangle. It's all just A equals length times width, or length times height, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. All you do is just multiply these bad boys together and do 183 times, what is it called? 82.2. 82.2. And then finally, our answer is 15,042, or rounding, it'd be 15,000. So that would be the answer to the final set of questions. So yeah. All right, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this different setup to one of my videos. As you can see, the first page of Crunchers, S&Gs really has just adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, nothing too serious. Maybe a couple of solver questions or something. They're not really that hard to get around. I'd say the most difficult thing is some of those questions where they say, oh yeah, you got to find positive x or positive z. Then you have to make sure to give a positive guess in your solver. All in all, if you guys know the solver, and if you guys know simple stuff like that, how to add, subtract, multiply, divide on the prime, I think it should be pretty simple. You guys got it. Y'all are smart. I believe in you. So without any further ado, I think this will be the end for this video. Let me know if you like this structure better than the other structures. Leave a like, comment. I don't really know what to do else. And bye-bye.